First, let me point out that I'll be talking about nudity not of men but of women, and a very aesthetic kind of nudity. That's why it's worth watching this video until the end. Good morning, it's me, Andres. Yesterday I was riding my motorcycle and I was cold. It's cold. Tomorrow and the day after are supposed to be cold too, so the only reasonable option right now is to pamper your motorcycle before the weekend, so that next week, when it finally gets warm, you can go out for a nice ride. And there's nothing better on the weekend than taking a break from computers, smartphones and similar things. Trust me, I do it. My wife made me and it really is better. And then there's no better option than AMA. Gezi. I've already read it, but I hope you will read it too. You know, we're making the magazines a bit more thematic now, and this one is more dedicated to travel and all sorts of travel inspirations, and it's not just that. The point is simply to rack up as many kilometers as possible on that motorcycle. In the news section, there's some information about upcoming events, but remember that on our website's event calendar, you have everything listed in order what to do, where, in which week, and in which weekend. And as for the tests, to start off, we have 3 Honda 500S, the CB500C, 500X, and CB500 are almost the perfect motorcycles to start with. Tomek Niewiadomski took them out for a spin, was really impressed and said, "Man, you can have so much fun on these." On a 500, I trust him, although I'll be verifying it myself soon as well here in Poland. Various little gadgets, products. We're thinking about testing a bit more stuff for you, but it's impossible to do everything. For now, we're focusing on motorcycles, and that's the Multistrada 950, which is kind of a dream come true for many travelers. A motorcycle that's suitable for long trips and, in my opinion, much better for city riding than its bigger counterpart. A very big surprise. This piece of equipment was for me. I don't even know if I said that in Polish at all. Generally, it's a cool bike, and that's it. It's worth reading the review, because here they've changed the electronic suspension, the non-electronic suspension, new communication systems. Oh, there's a lot of information, unnecessary or not. Depends on how you look at it. This is really an interesting thing that we've been waiting for, the Moto Guzzi V85 TT. So, like I said, it's a bit of inspiration for people who like stylish motorcycles. For example, those who ride a cafe racer, a scrambler, or simply care more about the look than pure performance. And this could be the motorcycle that pushes such people to go on trips, a machine that not only looks fantastic, but also really rides very decently, just under 100 horsepower, but with the classic V-twin, you know, Moto Guzzi set across the frame. I also can't wait to personally get my hands on this machine. For now, it was Smoku who rode it, so a guy who's more interested in the style of traveling than the travel itself, and he thought, hey, seriously, he actually said he'd gladly take a trip on a bike like that. What do we have next? But this Moto Guzzi, we have a lot of it. It's a nice bike. The BMW scooter, that's, well, a topic, is up for debate, but that's the truth. Each of us in the editorial team, supposedly all motorcyclists, you know, one is a traveler, another is into sports bikes, a third is an old-timer enthusiast, but it always ends up that when a scooter lands in our editorial office, everyone wants to ride it because it's simply the most comfortable. And those, once the BMW hit 400, all sorts of their different electronic systems describe patents for increasing luggage space. It rode with us almost the entire winter and proved itself, and now others can test it out for themselves. These are really great photos. I recommend them. Tomasz Pazikowski took some truly awesome shots of the Komar and Lech riding the K. Omar in a really fitting style. Aviator Cup, well, it's hard to find the more iconic Polish moped than the Komarek. So really great photos. Very great article. I highly recommend it as well. And now, coming up, of course, is a story prepared by Tomasz Erbicki about another Polish champion. And this is a really cool effort by Tomek, that he constantly wants to remind us of the names of great Polish motorcyclists so that they are not forgotten. And that's why we respect him so much and thank him. Here we have rides and stories about people, which is exactly what we want to show more and more in the magazine, meaning the new section World of Motorcyclists, and now a story that's a bit like a fairy tale. Whoever will say it out loud. Whoever says it correctly, raise your hand, not me. Anyway, it's a story of a young guy who started training in a parking lot by the supermarket on a motorcycle that he basically bought with the money he used to steal from his dad. Maybe not the nicest thing to do, but in the end, he's now racing in MotoGP, so it paid off, and his dad has probably forgiven him by now. It's a great story about a young, very talented guy who, although things aren't easy for him right now because he's riding a KTM, we still believe that we'll be hearing a lot more about him in MotoGP in the future. Oh, and here's something cool for women as well. Like I said, more travel inspiration speed ladies give tips on how to set out on a trip with a group of women or solo. And here's a whole section on how to just get into traveling in the women's version, though. Honestly, I'm not sure what the difference is between the women's and men's versions. I guess the point is to show, hey girls, come on, let's go somewhere together. Let's hit the road. Moving on. A beautiful custom as always. Mariusz made a really nice custom. Honda CB500. Well, as you can see, with a huge number of different modifications. Nice thing, really, it's very nice. And then a quick switch. Honda, but completely different one this time, a racing Honda straight from MotoGP. And on it, Cal Crutchlow, who is probably one of the biggest wildcards in MotoGP that we have. Last year, I don't know if you know, he had a nasty injury that didn't look all that dramatic from the outside, but his foot was just shattered into tiny pieces. Oh, Binky. Such fractures that Jesus, Mary. And what did the guy do? Not only did he come back this year, but although that's what happened in the first place. Next round, if I'm not mistaken, they will stand on the floor. I am. Well, that's just great. Cat. Well, the British tough bastard. What more can I say about him? Nelly N wrote a piece for us about his comeback, fighting all winter long. It wasn't easy. Next up, Tomek Niewiadomski, a used bike, meaning a sensible motorcycle. A bit underrated, which is the Yamaha MT-03. Underrated because it doesn't have too much power. You know, we need to grow into motorcycles that don't have much power. We've already grown up. We have our editorial R3. I think that the more of you try riding small bikes, the more you'll feel that it really is a lot of fun. When it comes to riding these kinds of motorcycles, power isn't always what matters. The long distance test, which Tobias carried out, he really put that Romet through its paces. The Romet ADV400 didn't have it easy with him. He rode it all winter long. And here Tobias tells us what broke, what didn't. But from what I know, the motorcycle is still running, so hey, damn, it works, doesn't it? It does. Tomek, on the other hand, ABS systems, meaning braking assistance. What was the story, the development of all this? Because I often say in tests that ABS used to be kind of a real disaster and you had to turn it off right away to ride safely. Now, ABS systems are such that you need to leave them on to ride safely, and you can really ride fast with them. You can ride in a sporty way. They work in corners. They simply make things easier. They allow us to ride really fast. Thanks to that, we simply ride more safely. I used to be against ABS, but now I'm really a supporter because you can ride at full throttle. And now, well, a unique feature in our magazine. We've never had anything like this before. It's very artistic. It's about a woman. It's an interview with her who grew up on the Isle of Man, which is the most far moose place when it comes to motorcycle racing probably on the planet. There are no bigger daredevils, madmen, I don't know, brave guys, to put it mildly, in the world than those who race on the Isle of Man. And she was simply raised there, and the whole atmosphere awakened her artistic soul, leading her to create incredible photographs. Each of her photos references what's happening at a specific spot on the racetrack. For example, here, the most motorcycles in history have run out of fuel for the largest number of riders. Each of these photos carries a story. That story is described here. Rachel Clegg is a truly fascinating figure, especially when you look at the images she creates. These images are everything. They capture the sound of motorcycles racing by on the track, and she records it, then she paints it. So we can actually buy painting with the sound included. What is this? It's the BMW S1000RR of Ian Hutchinson and the Honda CBR 1000R of John McGuinness. Here you go, tour cycle you can have for yourself. So I highly recommend this interview. Really cool girl, tourism in Roztoche. Once again, Tobias, and Tobias also shows with Papak that you can travel not only by motorcycle, but also by scooter. And here Dorota Papiernik also showed that you can travel alone without stress. Just fulfill your dream, get on a motorcycle and go to Spain, because that's what she did. She always dreamed of traveling. Somehow she couldn't motivate herself, couldn't find company. And then suddenly, bam, okay, I'm going. She got on, went to Spain and came back satisfied, And here you can read about her adventure. I'm a bit jealous too. I'd like to do that as well. At the end, as usual, there's Lexus Column. And that's about it for this magazine. Damn, I just remembered that I have something to read this weekend because I haven't read Lex Column yet. Alright then. You see, an EV, everyone has something to read for themselves. Because I wanted to say something, but I see something here. As usual, that's just scheming. Anyway, I recommend this magazine, as well as many, many others. Soon, we'll try to launch new features on our website and our online store, so that those magazines which have been withdrawn from sale also reach you, so that you can better search for the articles that interest you. That's it. My throat is dry. I'm going back to work and getting the motorcycle ready, because next week it's supposed to get really warm. Take care.